Hello and welcome to the When the Boat Comes In podcast, speaking about the episode A Wreath with Our Names On. Yeah, I mean, with this episode, to be honest, the main theme of it is that Dolly's relation has a very bad accident at work. But the thing is, he did go and see Billy, the doctor, and he tells him that he has pleurisy. But the thing is, he needs to keep working to support his children.
Sit down, man. You can't work with what you've got.
I could walk a hurry before I knew where it was. Apart from the breathing, like.
You're going to have to stop, Mr. Mather.
Hey, I can't stop, Doctor. I've got foul bands.
You've got to stop. You could die, man.
Aye. I survived Passchendaele. And the Somme. I'll survive this.
He suffered a lot, this man. And he just had a great attitude. I loved his attitude. He was just like, I'll get through it. I'll be fine. I've survived this. I think that is a trait that is kind of undervalued these days. Certainly no victimization back then at all was there. I know that's another side of it. You know, he should have been helped more, definitely. They called it A1 in the war when you got signed off. I think it was for compensation. Is that right? And at this point, he hasn't got it, even though he was shot, I believe.
Who was it?
Chap called Stan Mather. Works at Lewis Bishop's. Or did.
Lewis Bishop, Manners Yard.
Aye. Manners would like it if you start a fight with him.
Manners will have to lump it then. Who's this Mather?
He's a cousin of our Dolly's first husband.
He has a very bad accident, and in the end he does end up dying. But it's very funny with Billy because he's very much into socialism and helping people, but at this moment where he thinks he might lose his job if somebody finds out that he wasn't fit for work, he really crumbles, doesn't he? He isn't going to help him, but it's very clever what Jack does, and all of his friends, all of these friends that this man has, they basically cover for him. There's a policeman that covers for him, even his boss at work. Jack goes to see him, and they all cover for this man because he was a stand-up guy. He fought in the war.
And you investigated what happened?
Yes, I did. Accident, that's what it was. And if the other side tries suggesting different, they can forget it. I was there, I know. You can call me if you want.
Well, only if I have to. I know what it's like.
We all know what it's like. But Stan Mather's one of the best. Good soldier, good pal, good man. And I want to see right done by him. I mean that.
But by the end of the episode, that's really funny when he sees Jack. Well, he's dying, that's not funny. But Jack winks at him. You were signed off A1. And then he winks, and then the other guy winks back at him. And of course, the name with the wreath on, this is all about Dolly, because he's a relation of hers. And Jack says at the end of the episode, it's going to be a wreath with our names on. Because obviously back then, if you divorced somebody, it was shame on the family, wasn't it, really? So it's a very good episode, yeah. And you really see Jack working for the union, working for workers' rights in this episode. And really, he always delivered.
In the army, weren't you?
Right through.
So was White Somme, Cambrai. I got shot, you know.
I do know. But you were discharged A1. Never seen another doctor from that day to this. Right, Stan?
Right, Jack.
And yeah, it's funny in this episode, I mentioned Billy, again, showing why some people don't like his character, in my opinion. I talked about his stinginess in the previous episode. In this episode, he's worried about his own skin, basically. He's not worried about this man who fought in the war and he's got kids to raise and all the rest of it. He's worried about saving his own skin. But I love the part where Jack's like, I'll shop you. He says that he'll write to his union, the doctors' union, saying that he sent this man to work and he wasn't fit for work, and then he had an accident that resulted in him dying. So that's very clever from Jack, and I love the way Matt's laughing. He's like, that's brilliant. But Billy deserved it. He really did. I thought that was bad from Billy. And, you know, he's meant to have these high beliefs about helping people, and the first sign that it may affect him, he cowards away from it. So I did love the way Jack handled that situation.
Oh, look, it's no good. I mean, this could finish us. I can't do it, Jack.
I think you can. And I'll tell you for why. Because if you don't, I'll shop you.
Don't talk daft. You can't.
Oh, yes, I can. I'll write to the, what's your union called again? Oh, aye, the British Medical Association. And I'll tell them I'm not satisfied with you. And I'll tell them why. Because 4 days ago, you let a man with pleurisy go back to work. And because he was ill, he had an accident. And it killed him.
Jack, man, that's marvellous.
You'd do that?
You know I would. Let's have those case notes, bunny lad.
At the end of the episode, you see a scene between Jack and Dolly, and they're basically reminiscing a bit about their relationship and what happened. But it's mostly about Stan. That's the name of the guy who sadly died from his injuries at work. He had pleurisy as well, but Jack's got wonderful compensation for him. Well, the best he could get. We don't know how much exactly, but potentially he would have got nothing. He's made it out that he was A1 after the war, so now it means that he can get what he deserves, because, you know, he does deserve it. If you saw his injuries when he was being examined by Billy, you know, he deserves he deserved compensation for that anyway. I think Stan even said, like, after he got that wound, they sent him off to war the next day, or like a couple of days later. So unbelievable, isn't it? But that's what things were like back then. Yeah. But yeah, Jack and Dolly do reminisce a bit, but it's mostly that Jack says to Dolly, the wreath is going to have our names on for Stan, because as I mentioned earlier, back then, divorce was a terrible thing. It brought shame on the family, and he didn't want that, and I thought that was nice.
Bad news.
Bert's cousin.
Stan Mather, aye.
Oh, Matt wrote and told us. How is he?
Dying, maybe dead.
He was a lovely fella.
Aye, he was. And a real man and all.
He's left a widow and bairns.
4.
Poor soul. Will you get them anything? Compensation, like?
Every penny I can.
She'll need it.
Aye, she will, and she'll get it. I went to see him in the hospital. He talked about you. Said what a bonny lass you were. He thought we were still together. I didn't tell him different.
I'm glad. If he dies, you'll let us know.
Of course.
I want to send a wreath.
No. Leave that to me. A wreath with our names on.